Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Paddy Raghavan, who is the co-founder of Multipl, which is a fintech startup. Hi, Paddy. Welcome to the show.
Hey Priyaranjan, thank you for hosting me here, and it's a pleasure to be here talking to your audience. Thank you.
So, Paddy, we can start off with your introduction. So, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us everything about you, what all you did before starting entrepreneurship, and how did you arrive at entrepreneurship in first place?
Yeah. Thank you. So my very quick background, I am currently the co-founder of a fintech product called Multipl, where we are creating this category called Spendvesting, which helps people to invest for their spends. We'll talk more about that, what we mean by that. But that's my current role. Prior to Multipl, I had uh, built another startup in the enterprise cloud space called Compute.io. This was, part of the Alchemist Accelerator in the Bay Area. So I was doing this sortie between Bangalore and Bay Area for a good 4 5 years before eventually the company Compute.io was acquired by Cisco. And yeah, prior to that, my background is I did my master's from Triple IT Bangalore, and I've been like a tech guy, product person all along. Something that I enjoy doing is building things, creating some products, creating products which are probably not there, not a just a copycat version of something that is working in the West, but really creating products. That's been something that I enjoyed doing. That's my background. And in terms of the other question that you asked about journey in entrepreneurship, so I mean, nothing fancy. I just a classic middle class guy, just ambitious, wanting to do something big, something nice. I got some opportunities. I was always looking for opportunities in terms of creating, building a business or creating a product. So post my masters, and I was at EMC data storage systems in the product management team in Bangalore. So I was exposed to cloud through my EMC work early on. So I saw an opportunity with building a product in cloud, and that is where I started my entrepreneurship journey. But always I wanted to build things. I felt entrepreneurship is the way to break out from the identity crisis sort of I was having, because everyone around me was doing the same stuff. So is there something that I can do differently and also break out? So I thought entrepreneurship was the best way to achieve that. Yeah, that's sort of a quick background and context of Priyaranjan.
Got it. So, what I have seen is when people decide to become entrepreneur, they then the what they do is they start shortlisting ideas and then arrive at a place where the passion meets a opportunity to make business. And it's a common place where you are good at something and then you have a business opportunity, and lot of things kind of merge to start a venture. So can you tell us what was the hypothesis before building Multipl? And I think you have been talking a lot about a concept called spend vesting. So what is that? And can you tell us a little bit about the initial process?
Sure. Sure, absolutely. So, post the acquisition with Cisco, I got in touch with my other co-founders here. So we were actually discussing personal finance. We were actually discussing money, how people are managing money. And then we sort of realized more people are investing today, participating in the markets. People are more aware of managing money, and always looking for that alpha or getting more out of their money. So that's a mindset that has started developing. As a country, we've also been more risk taking in terms of the capital efficiency, right? So that was one behavior that we noticed. But the other thing that we noticed was also about gratification around how people are getting buying things or consuming things on credit. This was
Mm,
a time when COVID happened, and we saw a lot of payday loans. People have been taking loans for consumption, like iPhone or for travel, and then people lost jobs, and that really hurt them. Right, it took them 2 years to get back because they are currently on debt and they don't have a job. So this was something which we felt while investing is happening, which is good. Consumption is being driven through credit, which is not good, and which was evident when COVID happened and all these job losses happened. So people were really struggling, who would have otherwise been better off. Now it takes them about a year or two to get back to their earlier lifestyle. So this sort of started making us think about money, about consumption in a better way. Like, should we get people consume on credit, or we can't be preachy. We can't go to folks and then say, hey, you should not have your iPhone. Why do you want an iPhone? Why do you want a car? Why do you want to travel? Is not
mm,
something that we would want to do, and that's not going to make sense to anyone, right? So this would just be like a sermon that nobody is going to listen to, which is why we thought there should be a better way to get people to achieve their aspirations, live their lifestyle, which is why we thought, why don't we get people to invest for their spends? Instead of spending on credit and on loan, can we encourage people to invest for their spends? Because, like I said, more Indians are investing and
mm.
we are consuming as well. So we are just connecting spending and investing through this concept called Spendvesting, where we get people to invest for their spends and they get returns from the market, like mutual funds that they get returns, but they also get discounts from brands when they are actually spending with the brand. So, for example, I'm planning to travel 6 months later, and I start investing for it. I get returns from mutual funds, but I also get discount from Make My Trip, say for example, or Ease My Trip, some of our partner brands. So as a consumer, you get two things. One is the returns from mutual funds. The other is the discount from brands. Together, this would actually be a 20-21% sort of a value against, even if you keep the money in the bank, that is about 3% savings return that you're getting. So you're now going to make 7x more than what you're making in the bank. Or if you're doing this on loan or credit, this is like 10x, 15x better in terms of the outcome, right? So it's a very positive way of spending, and it's a better way of spending. That's why we are like very excited about building this. We were excited when we started saying this is a product which is not there, which is a product which is positive, helping people to live their aspirations without being preachy. So that's sort of how we framed this, Priyanjan.
Got it. I think this is really interesting concept because the overall spread seems to be quite high, around 20-21%. So no other app, no other fintech would give you that kind of a return. Having said that, but what I the problem I see with the whole model is this is only catering to a certain kind of individual who would first of all who has money to invest, number one. Then they also have the willingness to either travel or spend on some sort of luxury item. So uh, can you tell us what kind of research that you did to find out who is your ideal persona and how do you target them?
Yeah, so I mean, travel was an example that I took in terms of how this would work, but this is not restricted to travel or just spends around wants, right? So the whole model, the way we've constructed this, so individuals, we have this 50-30-20 budgeting principle, which is sort of widely spoken about recently, where 50% of your income goes towards needs, 30% goes to your wants, and 20% goes to your savings, right? So savings is what your wealth creation, retirement planning, everything around that is the 20% bucket. And needs or wants are actually 80%. Needs would include anything to do with your EMIs that you're paying, your rent, and also things like your insurance premiums, car insurance premium, health insurance premium, people who have school going kids, the school fees, or even things like groceries are all coming towards needs. And wants is the thing where it is about travel, about shopping, around jewelry purchase, anniversary gifting, birthday gifting, all of that go into the wants bucket. So as a product, as a category, Multipl and Spendvesting supports all of this. So it's not just about travel, it's across your needs, wants, and savings. You can invest for your car insurance premium, you can invest for your health insurance premium, you can invest for your kids' school fees, or you can also invest for your anniversary jewelry gifting or your holiday travel or your shopping as well, right? So everything, as well as your long-term saving needs. This could be your retirement plan or anything. So across your needs, wants, and savings, you can invest, and Multipl as a platform supports all of this. So it's not necessarily only about people who want to travel or people who are buying their iPhones, but it's across needs, wants, and savings. That's the first thing. The second thing is behaviorally also, we don't expect people to always plan things. So some things you can plan, like, I know when my anniversary is, I know when my, son's birthday is, so I would actually plan a birthday gift for that, or when my car insurance premium is due, so I can start investing for it. But many times I might not know. Maybe there is a sale that happens. There is some, sneakers, or maybe something that I want to buy from Decathlon, maybe some, pickleball racket. Suddenly it got popular. I'm interested. I want to buy pickleball. I never planned for it. So even things you don't plan, Multipl as a platform supports it. Like you keep investing in a shopping fund or in a travel fund. You just keep investing. You can dip into that anytime there is a need for you. So you let it grow in mutual funds against the 3% that you're getting from the savings return. Now you are actually putting this in curated mutual funds. We'll talk about the mutual funds also. So these are not regular commission based mutual funds. What you get on Multipl, these are all expert SEBI. We are a SEBI registered investment advisor. So this is all coming from analysis of all the 1,500 funds across 44 AMCs. What are those right funds that are relevant for this particular user in current market conditions, right? So there is a lot of research work that has gone into identifying the right mutual funds so that you get some returns which are much better than your savings return. So that is one. And then you also use a Decathlon discount or a Amazon discount whenever you are making that spend. So behaviorally also, this doesn't require everyone to plan all the time. You can even do this in a more unplanned fashion where you keep investing into a shopping fund or a travel fund and then dip into it anytime. So that's the long answer, in terms of this is not about just about travel. It's a much more comprehensive platform that lets you invest for all your needs, wants, and savings. And in terms of the demography or the target users, so these are all, we go after people who have, who are working professionals across income brackets, right? Yeah, of course, you need an income to invest. But across income brackets, we are actually targeting people, and you can even start as low as 100 rupees as a SIP. So this is not specific to a 1% sort of an audience, but it is across anyone that has the ability to invest even 100 rupees.
Got it. And I also understand your venture is backed by well-known entities like the Bloom Venture, Kotak Securities, and Kunal Shah himself runs a fintech company of his own, and that's quite a thing. So, can you tell us what kind of support and guidance have you been receiving from these investors?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a really a great blessing to have the institutional investors as well as individuals like Kunal Shah that you mentioned. We have many more. It is great to have their backing because, and all of them actually liked Multipl primarily because of the category that we are creating. This is a globally unique category. This is not an India copy version of something that is working in the US or China or elsewhere, right? So this is getting truly created out of India. It's a unique category that we are creating. And that's something that resonated with the investors, both institutional and angels. And it's been a great support. All these institutional investors, folks like Bloom have been phenomenal support because they backed category creators in the past in other areas. So for them, they understand the category creation challenges and they also know the things that we need to do, and they've been a great support for us. So it's something that we've been fortunate to have the support of these investors. We've also got recently a Japanese investor, Mixi, on board. So that sort of lends more credibility, also gives us some international perspective whenever we want to take that path.
Mhm. Got it. Can you tell us about the demographics of your user base? Like, what is the some of the commonalities in
Yeah.
them, and or in other words, how do you target them on different advertisement platforms? What kind of filters do you add?
Yeah. So, like I said, we are going after anyone with a income. Working professionals is what we are actually targeting, and within that, you have different age groups, right? You can categorize them as early jobbers, people who are just starting out with maybe their paid internships or just getting into the industry and getting their first paychecks. So the early jobbers, people in the age group between 22 to 25, 26, and then you have those experienced sort of users, 26 to 32, maybe planning to get married or just married, or someone or dings, for example. So that's the other segment, 26 to 32, 33 sort of age group. And then you have the family users, 35 and above, people with a good level of income, maybe both the couple are working, have a kids, have a car, do international travel for vacation. So that's the 35 plus sort of a family users, right? So these are the three different segments that we target, and each one we target differently based on how we would want to reach them. Of course, digital is one. Even reaching out to the right set of influencers, the ones that connect to these different age groups. So that is also something that we do. We also do some BTL activities in corporates to reach out to these professionals. So yeah, these are some of the mechanisms in terms of GTM. But yeah, I mean that's the segmentation is something that we do, and the targeting is based on that. But broadly, what we've seen is there are a lot of commonalities, right? So all these people today across all these different age groups do spend, are very aspirational. The spend value could be different. The spend, the direction could be slightly different. Like a early jobber would be doing a backpacking travel, while a family, sort of a settled family user would be doing more premium holiday, premium travel, right? But travel is something that is common across all these age groups. So I'm just giving one example. So there are some commonalities, but the approach could be slightly different, which we will, based on our data, based on the pattern and some of the segmentation, we will do specific targeting.
Got it. And have you been facing any challenges in educating different stakeholders about this concept of spend vesting? Because number one, I see educating customers is a big challenge because they are not aware of this concept. Then regulators is also another challenge because when you try to get license of NBFC or anything like that, the regulators will ask you what kind of a platform you are. You can either categorize yourself as a investment platform or a payment platform, but you have combined multiple models. So how do you navigate through that?
Interesting question, Priyaranjan. So, yeah, for us on the regulator side, like I said, we are a SEBI registered investment advisor. So we are 100% compliant with SEBI. And what we are doing is encouraging people to invest even for your spends beyond savings, which is what is currently happening. We are now getting people to encouraging them to invest for their spends as well. So this is something that the regulators should be we are in line with their vision, getting more people to participate in the market in the right way, which is what we are doing. Getting people to participate in the market in mutual funds, even for your spends, in the right way through advisory. Right. So we are very much aligned with the ideas of the regulator. So we don't have a challenge per se with the regulator. But the first point that you mentioned about educating consumers, so that's definitely something that we are doing, and that's the challenge for any category creation, right? So this is not something which is very obvious, very intuitive, in the sense this is not something that people have been doing in the form and model that we have actually built. People have been investing largely, but that is for long term. People have been, even for spends in the jewelry case, India has this unique thing where people have these jewelry schemes where you invest for 10 months and you get the 11th month free, sort of a model which is only available on the jewelry sector, which people are slightly aware of. At least the women are very aware of this. So we are building on top of that. Instead of putting this money, giving it to a jeweler, we are actually investing in the market, and you still get the discount from the jeweler eventually, if you are talking about jewelry, right? So education is something that is very critical for us, which is what we are doing through our own social media efforts. And also, even this opportunity to discuss with you, we are always up for any conversations around Multipl, because we see that as an opportunity to educate people about what this category is about, build that awareness or drive discovery, right? So always looking for opportunities to drive the discovery, and that education is happening in multiple ways. But yeah, it's something that we are very aware of, and it needs to be there for some more time before it gets mainstreamed.
Got it. And you must be aware that AI is, it's a big thing in financial industry. And recently, the agentic framework has become popular. So companies are adopting AI for different purposes like robo-advisory, and then for detecting fraud, anti-money laundering, and lot of use cases. Uh, can you, are you using by any chance the latest AI technologies, or if you are, can you give some examples how you are using it?
Yeah, we definitely are. Personally, I'm also a big fan of AI and the positive impact it can have. Not just in fintech but globally, but definitely on the fintech industry or the landscape also. It is going to have a very positive impact. So I'm a big believer in that personally, and Multipl as a company also is believing in AI to impact us positively. So we are a robo-advisory already, right? From the day one, we built a robo-advisory in terms of selecting those one or two or three funds for a particular goal that you're creating out of 1,500 plus funds is done through our robo-advisory. But we were using a lot of, a little bit of ML, a little bit of querying to achieve that earlier. Now we are starting to bring AI into that. But it's still early days, I would say. But where we've started using AI more concretely is around the bot itself, Spendvesting bot that we have in the app. So you could come and ask the bot around, hey, I want to invest for a travel to Vietnam. Suggest me a plan. So the bot actually gives you a lot of information about how you can go about doing this, what is the value you would get when you're actually investing for it. So it's much more educating about Spendvesting. We are using AI, which is again built on OpenAI. So that's something that we are using today. And going forward, we will be using a lot more. Like I said, on the investment advisory piece itself, we will be using AI much more aggressively. And other ways around the whole the needs, wants, and savings, analyzing your income based on consent, of course, user consent, and understanding your income, understanding your spends, and then recommending the right set of investment options or Spendvesting options is something that we are going to drive through AI. So yeah, AI is, we started using it. It is playing a small role today, but it's going to play a much bigger role in the days ahead.
And what do you foresee about the competitive landscape? Uh, So the way I see it currently, because you are a new model, you may not have direct competitors, but uh, somewhat close competitors would be there. If not, once you start doing well, other companies will start popping up, and the existing investment apps will simply, launch a reward sort of model, their reward points, or brand partnerships and everything. What will stop them? So how do you foresee everything for?
Sure. So again, very interesting. In terms of you're right. With where we are today, we don't have a competition because it's a unique product that we are creating. At this point in time, there is no direct competition for us. But that's not going to be the same. Like you rightly pointed out, once we are successful and once we are more visible, others would see that is an opportunity for them to do this. So fundamentally, one, it's the DNA, right? So the way the company is built, Multipl has built the company as well as the category. It's around getting people to invest for their spend. So the DNA is not about holding on to that money forever, which is what a typical investment platform thinks. We are about holding on the money for a particular purpose, which there is a churn that is going to happen. So you're absolutely fine with the churn. So that's one thing that it's around the DNA in terms of how we look at an investment. The second is the partnerships that we have in place today. We have close to 100 brand partnerships across 15 different categories. So we actually build that out with the brand partners. And the third thing that I would highlight here, which is a very important thing, is the space itself. Right? The category itself, we are starting from zero. And today, just to give a reference, today the October data of mutual fund investments is about 25,000 crore. That's the number that has come in mutual funds for October. And most of it is going towards that savings part, the 20% savings bucket. Now, with Spendvesting, we have the ability to double this number easily. When I say it's not about Multipl, but as a category, this can actually increase the mutual fund inflow from 25,000 crore to even a 50,000 crore number. So for us, getting more people doing it, it's actually only going to help our cause because the space is nascent and the headroom is quite high. So there is enough room for many players to play this eventually. But given our background, given our DNA, given the things that we've already done, we should be one of the leaders, if not the leader in this space, even with more competition in place.
And here is my final question, and this is around entrepreneurship. Uh, so far, you have had years of experience into entrepreneurship, two different ventures. What have you learned about entrepreneurship? What are the key lessons that you have learned that you would like to pass on to aspiring entrepreneurs who are either just starting out or thinking about starting?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm personally very passionate about it. I would anyone that I meet, and if they are interested in building something, I'm always ready to help them, give them my experience. I would not call it as advice, but it's more about sharing my experiences rather. So, I mean, India as a country is, the next decade or more is something that we are going to see a lot of growth and a lot of opportunities. So there is no better time than starting. When I started, cloud was something that I actually capitalized. And because it actually gave ability to access compute, storage, all these at a very fractional cost and in a much more easier manner. So that really helped build businesses in the earlier sort of generation. But today, you have the cloud, but you also have AI. And that is also making things a lot more interesting, a lot more accessible, a lot easier. So it is important. I mean, people who are looking to start, they really have a lot of things going their way. So it's not, there is no better time to start. Definitely encourage people to do that. In terms of the things that I would actually share, which have worked for me, is take up this in terms of entrepreneurship, not as a outcome, in terms of financial outcome. You can't start saying, okay, I want to be a millionaire. I want to make so much money. Cannot be the starting point. At least that's not how it worked for me. It's always about building things. It's always about identifying a market opportunity and building things around it. Eventually, the financial success would happen. But if you start with the financial outcome, because it is going to be challenging and data is there for everyone, in terms of startup successes and all that. So this would just put undue stress and people would not be enjoying the journey. So it is better that you have a larger goal in mind and work towards it based on the market opportunity. The financial outcome would happen eventually, right? So that would be my real key, experience sharing that I would say.
Yeah, I think I would also agree with that. I always say that if you are passionate about entrepreneurship, then only do that. Otherwise, if you're just for money, then probably do some other job. There are a lot of jobs out there which would pay you even more than entrepreneurship. But yeah, you cannot sustain just by being in it for money. So you have to
Correct.
be. It has to be
Absolutely.
more than that.
Correct.
Thanks for joining us, Paddy. It was a pleasure to have you on our platform, and I think what you are doing is really unique, and eventually it will transform the way India spends and India invests and thinks about finance. Thanks for joining us, and I wish the best for Multipl.
Thanks, Priyanjan. This was a great discussion, and thanks for having me on your show.
My pleasure, Paddy.
Thank you.